This lesson presents an excerpt from Gavin Maxwell's account of raising an otter named Mijbil. It begins with his decision to adopt an unusual pet in Iraq, where he receives a rare breed later named after him. The narrative describes the difficulties of transporting Mijbil to London and the otter's playful, intelligent behavior in an urban setting. The lesson is supplemented with SPCA guidelines, highlighting the responsibility and long-term commitment of pet ownership, along with geographical and climatic context for Basra and London. Grammar and vocabulary exercises further support comprehension of the text. Imagine trading a loyal dog for a mysterious creature that looks like a medieval dragon and acts like a water-loving toddler. Glance at the watercolor map stretching all the way from the marshes of Iraq to the heart of London. This isn't just a geographic trip, it's a personal transformation. The journal aesthetic here suggests we aren't merely reading a story, but uncovering a private logbook of discovery and companionship. Understanding this geography is key because the drastic change in setting shapes the unique challenges Maxwell faces with his new friend. Grief often pushes us to try something completely radical to fill the void left by a loss. Look at the location marked Chemisferna near the water. Maxwell identifies this wet, isolated spot as the perfect laboratory for what he calls his new experiment. The visual connection between the marshy Tigris and his Scottish home explains why he hypothesized that an otter might thrive here better than another dog. Recognizing the character's motivation, loneliness, helps you analyze why he bonds so deeply with the animal later on. We've all felt the frustration of waiting for a package that just won't arrive. But Maxwell's wait involved broken phone lines and religious holidays. Follow the arrow trail of communication failures, cables, phones, and closed exchanges, building up to that mysterious sack in the corner. This visual timeline of delays isn't just about logistics, it heightens the anticipation for the creature hiding inside that squirming bag. In storytelling, these hurdles are crucial because they test the protagonist's resolve before the real adventure begins. First impressions can be deceiving, especially when your new pet looks more like a dinosaur than a cuddly companion. Focus on the illustration of the mud armor. He is so caked in dirt that his true, soft, chocolate brown coat is completely hidden from view. Maxwell compares him to a medieval dragon, suggesting a creature that feels ancient, mythical, and initially distant. Capturing these physical details is essential for answering questions about how Mijbil's appearance and personality evolve as he gets clean. If you think cats love boxes, wait until you see how much otters obsess over moving water. Observe the transition from the chaotic bathtub splash to the tender heart icon showing him sleeping in the crook of Maxwell's knees. This progression maps the rapid shift from a wild, water-obsessed animal to an intelligent, affectionate friend who can even turn on taps. Noting these specific behaviors, like juggling marbles, provides the hard evidence you need to prove Mijbil's intelligence in exam answers. Sometimes the best-laid travel plans turn into a complete nightmare in a matter of minutes. Your eyes are drawn to the blood-spattered box and the panicked figure. This visualizes the sheer horror of Maxwell's discovery in the consulate. The timeline from the quiet box to the ricocheting bullet car ride illustrates the frantic, adrenaline-fueled race against time to save his pet. This scene is a turning point that tests Maxwell's responsibility, showing he cares more about Mijbil's safety than his own comfort. In the middle of chaos, a little bit of kindness from a stranger can feel like a royal decree. Notice the serene silhouette of the air hostess, contrasting with the stress of the previous scenes. She represents the calm in the storm. Maxwell calls her the queen of her kind, not because she followed rules, but because she broke them to help a distressed animal and passenger. Identifying this character trait is vital for understanding the theme of compassion that runs through the narrative. Moving to a big city didn't stop Midge from inventing his own games or confusing every person he met. Look at the ping-pong ball on the suitcase. It's a brilliant diagram of how Midge engineered his own entertainment using a broken slope. While he plays like an intelligent child, the word cloud below reveals that to Londoners, he was a total mystery, mistaken for everything from a beaver to a dinosaur. These compulsive habits and games mirror human behavior. helping us relate to an animal that most people had never even seen. A story about a man and an otter is never just about the animal, it's about the invisible threads that tie us together. Follow the branches of this mind map, specifically how the need for companionship flows directly into responsibility and care. Maxwell's journey moves from simple loneliness to a complex bond that requires sacrifice, patience, and deep understanding. Synthesizing these themes is the secret to writing a high-scoring answer about the deeper meaning of the text. Great writers paint with words, turning a messy car ride into a ricocheting bullet. Check the impact on the reader column to see how phrases like medievally conceived dragon do more than just describe. They evoke history and myth. Maxwell uses these metaphors and vivid imagery to ensure we don't just read about the events, but actually feel the panic and the humor. Being able to identify these devices isn't just for grammar drills. It explains why the story creates such a strong emotional picture in your mind. Writing a perfect exam answer is a bit like building a house. You need a solid structure to hold up your ideas. Notice the color-coded flow here. Start with the point, back it up with evidence from the text, and finish with an explanation. We aren't just listing facts about Mijbil, we are weaving his tap-turning intelligence and marble-juggling playfulness into a cohesive argument. Mastering the PEE method, point, evidence, explain, is your best strategy for tackling long answer questions effectively. Now that we've traveled through the story, it's time to pause and check your own mental map. Focus on the second question about the air hostess. It challenges you to recall the specific emotional beat of that scene. These prompts ask you to connect the dots between Maxwell's descriptions, like Mijbil's human-like rituals, and the bigger picture of their bond. Practice finding the exact sentences that support your answers now, so you aren't searching blindly during a test. The world has changed a lot since Maxwell carried a squeaking sack onto a plane in the 1950s. Compare the chaotic box travel we saw earlier with the modern, regulated pet carrier shown here on the left. This slide invites us to debate the ethics of keeping wild animals as pets, a practice that was common for Maxwell but is viewed very differently today. Connecting literature to current real-world issues shows critical thinking, a skill that examiners love to see. Every great adventure ends with a look back at the path traveled, seeing how far we've come. Trace the dotted line from the quiet experiment in Scotland, through the crisis in the air, to the playful days in London. This map visualizes the narrative arc, showing that the physical journey was just a backdrop for the emotional journey of bonding. Visualizing the plot structure helps you memorize the sequence of events without rote learning. You've read the explorer's log, but the most important story is the one you are about to write. The open journal page is blank for a reason. It's inviting you to use Maxwell's descriptive style on a subject you love. The challenge here is to move beyond listing dry facts and instead use vivid imagery to show personality, just like Maxwell did with Mijbil. Creative writing tasks are where you prove you understand the author's style by making it your own. If this lesson helped you, please like and share it with others who may benefit. Subscribe to Pragnya Education for more clear, concept-driven learning. Keep learning, keep growing, with wisdom.